I am playwright Derek Lee McPhatter, and you're watching The Artists Forum.
I am conceptual countertenor Juecheng.
I'm electro-acoustic composer Aiko.
And you're watching The Artists Forum.
Hi, welcome back to the Artists Forum. My name is Lisa Nicole Wilkerson, and I'm your host for tonight. My guest is an award-winning playwright and producer whose works have been seen around the world. Tonight, however, he's going to talk to us about his latest piece, Bring the Beat Back. Please welcome producer and playwright Derek Lee McPhatter. Derek, thank you so much for being here. It's
Thanks,
such a pleasure.
Lisa. Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
So your latest piece, Bring the Beat Back, it sounds like the epitome of intersectionality. So please, please, please tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Bring the Beat Back, in my words, is a queer, black, sci-fi music theater experience.
Yes.
And so when you say intersectionality, I think that does make a lot of sense because it speaks to all different kinds of communities that intersect with being queer and or being black and or being sci-fi geeks and or being music fans of some sort and being fans of theaters. There's all different kinds of practices, identities, and approaches to creativity that happen to make Bring the Beat Back possible. Now,
it's considered music theater. Talk about what that means, as opposed to calling it a musical where there's, I guess, a storyline.
Yeah.
Talk about why you call it that.
We've gone, my team, so I have a team, it's not just me.
Okay.
There's a great team around the project, and I'm excited about that, but we've gone back and forth with that. We're calling it music theater because it's really not working in the way that a traditional American musical works, where all the characters sing their emotions, where we're kind of like, we're taking a different kind of approach to how music is integrated into the piece. So it has a lot to do with the way that the music happens as part of rituals. The music happens as part of the plot line in ways that it doesn't always happen in musicals. So we went with music theater because of that, because it's slightly different.
Okay.
But you could say musical, and that would be fun. I wouldn't be that mad.
You wouldn't be mad about it?
I'd be okay if you said musical. Yeah, but it's just a little bit different. So we're trying to just make sure that people know what to expect. And that's kind of why we.
And so what can people expect when they go to see your piece?
Well, they can expect a queer black sci-fi music theater experience is what they can expect. I mean, how more specific do we need to be? I mean, it definitely has a narrative structure. We're following a young queer male-bodied person who's coming into their sexuality at the same time as they're having a crisis in their faith tradition. And so the storyline we're following is that character figuring out what they're going to do. And I've set it in an alternative reality where music drives everything, which is how I can get around people singing their emotions, because the world is music. So if the world is music, we're following a character journey musically into a new awareness and everything, and there's a whole bunch of people along for the ride. That's what we can expect. And it's written in a sort of black Afrofuturistic idiom, so the way that the characters speak is kind of drawing inspiration from what I consider a tradition of Afrofuturism in black culture, which you can point back to Sun Ra, you can point back to Parliament Funkadelic. More recently, you can look at Janelle Monáe, Erykah Badu. All of that sort of approach to black culture is infused in Bring the Beat Back. So that's like the flavor that it gives.
Wow.
So yeah, and there's not really like a musical that is doing that right now, but there are definitely touchstones.
Wow.
That we're looking at as musicals as we build this project.
This sounds really fun.
It is a lot of fun. definitely a lot of fun. One of the things that we're testing in this phase of the project of development is we are adding a live DJ component, because what I'm doing now is I'm taking music that I generated in collaboration with some artists in Chicago, and I'm taking that music and putting it back in the script. So the actors I'm going to see in a few hours are working on that music right now, and we're going to shove it into the script and make sure it works. But the way it's all supposed to flow when we're all said and done is the DJs in the sound booth, and they're controlling both the sound cues and the tracks, and we're doing it that way. So we're testing that in the next week or so.
So the DJ is like controlling the puppet string.
Yes, the DJ is very much a presence in the live. That's why you're calling it an experience.
Very fun.
Because musicals don't have that.
Right.
So it's a music theater experience, you see.
Well, we would love, well, we would love to give our viewers a piece of that experience.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, great. Thank you so much. So Derek has provided a piece of Bring the Beat Back, and you're going to be able to see it right now. Amazing. Oh my God, it's super fun. I love that.
Yeah, just so that is Revelation of the Beat.
Okay.
That's a demo cut by an artist I collaborated with by the name of Alexa Gray, who is based in Chicago. Okay. Alexa is a composer, performer, performance artist, singer, songwriter, you name it. All of the music things Alexa does. And I specifically approached Alexa as after I'd finished the script, I was looking for artists to collaborate with on the music. And Alexa really, to me, reflected the sort of personality and of the main character of the piece, Dayton McNamara Black. And so I specifically worked with Alexa on Dayton's song. So that's kind of like one of the things that our main character has to do in the play is sing that song.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so
Wow.
pretty fun too.
So one thing that because you mentioned Chicago,
Yes.
right? One thing that you also do with Bring the Beat Back is conduct workshops. And I understand that you had a workshop in Chicago last year. So what type of artists do you encourage to attend the workshop, and what do you do in your workshops?
Okay, so like the workshop component of Bring the Beat Back is kind of twofold right now. So what you're referring to, what happened in Chicago, was we were using workshop as a way to describe the development process of the piece. So we were workshopping the music. So when I was workshopping the music, I was working specifically with Alexa, and the other main collaborator from Chicago was Avery R. Young, who works more in a blues funk tradition, which is really cool as well. So we are workshopping that together. But there are big plans for the project, and one of the things that we want to do is do workshops for the community where we can kind of use Bring the Beat Back as an example of a community-driven project, kind of a queer, if you're going to make a queer black sci-fi music theater experience, there are not a lot of models for that sort of work. So any of those communities that are interested in making work, we're interested in doing workshops to help support them. So that's like writing workshops, creativity workshops, where different artists that are in the process would kind of speak to the way that they've come into it and share that experience with others.
Well, and speaking of newer artists, what advice would you give to someone who's interested in being a playwright, someone who's interested in being a producer, someone who's interested in putting together a piece similar to yours that has no foundation and they're just creating it from scratch?
Well, I would say that it can feel very lonely if you've come up with an idea that you don't think exists in the world yet, but it's probably there because in your head because the world needs it. And what I think everybody should remember, whether they're a playwright, producer, any creative pursuit, you need community when you do that. And so trust your vision, create your vision, and like move towards your vision, but also make sure that as you're doing that, you're building and you're participating in a community. That means it's not always about you every time, and sometimes you're doing stuff for the community that's gonna help your project in the end, but it's about building real relationships, because nothing happens in anything performance, nothing happens on its own. You need a team. Even a one-woman show, you need a team to put that one-woman show together. And just know that the more people that you can have on your team, the better it'll be. And that would be my advice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so for your piece, Bring the Beat Back, what are the next plans for this show?
Well, in about a week from this shooting, we're going to be presenting the next version of it, which is the music and the text together. And around all of this development process, what we've done is we've activated a whole bunch of relationships in the community to produce it even further. So we're looking at some exciting concert presentations that will probably happen around Pride this year. I can't really announce them yet, but we're looking at that. We're also looking at doing a dance workshop, and we're looking at doing a couple other things that as we move the project along to a full production. The full production will have dance in it. And so we've got to figure out, how does dance communicate with the music that's communicating with the text right now? So there's some development things that are happening and some presentation things that are happening, and I'm really, really, really excited about all of it.
You should be.
Yeah.
If you're not excited about your piece, who else will be excited about it, right?
I don't know, but I would say this, I'm thrilled that the team that is coming together around this, and that's Brian E. Glover, the executive producer. Christopher Burris is the director. Germano Saint is an amazing composer who's come on board. Like, this is an amazing team that believes in the project. So even as I've like run out of energy, the team that is building around it is so stoked. So it's going to have a life. And that goes back to building the community, you know, so.
So how can our viewers learn more about your projects and the life that it's building on its own?
Well, the best place to go right now, I would say, is the Facebook page, which is Facebook, The Beat Is Back. And if you just Google The Beat Is Back, you'll find our website and everything else like that. You can also follow me, because I'm always tweeting about it and everything, at DMacP1 on Twitter and Instagram and the things. But Facebook, The Beat Is Back is probably the best place to go for the up-to-date information.
Wonderful. So Derek, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but Bring the Beat Back sounds like it is so fun. I can't wait to see it when you have a production here in the city. But and we do hope that you'll come back when you have another part of it that you can share with us.
Yeah, I'd love to, Lisa. I really appreciate this. It's been great.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. Again, tonight's guest was Derek Lee McPhatter. He, again, is the producer and playwright of the exciting new piece, Bring the Beat Back. Check the Facebook page, check their Twitter page to get more information about this piece. And again, my name is Lisa Nicole Wilkerson, your host, and please stay tuned for more from the Artist Forum.
Hi, welcome back to the Artists Forum. I'm your host, Rebecca L. Hargrove, and joining me this evening is Juecheng Chen, who was invited by the Artists Forum Festival of the Moving Image to perform his new project, OE, the Operatic Electric. Thank you for joining me this evening, Jue.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and it's going to be just such a great time this evening because we're actually going to have a special performance of his latest piece, which will be accompanied by Aiko Mokuno. Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you.
So Jue, please give me a little bit of your background and tell me how you got to this point here.
Yes, so I am from Canton, China, in the mainland China. I went to study in England, then I went to Holland, France, Italy a little bit. Then I arrived in New York 2 years ago. And it's my favorite place because it gives us freedom. So I finished the master degree in voice in Manners, the New School.
Yep.
Alumni right here,
Yes.
Rebecca and I. And then I was inspired to explore what opera can be in the lens of today. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to express, to really show people what has hooked me up for over a decade.
So tell me, what exactly is operatic electric?
Yes, operatic electric. So there is a duo. You know, it would be maybe different each time. It's a project, it's a duo. So a duo which has elements of opera and elements of the electronics. And I always think, interestingly, if Bach, Handel, you know, Vivaldi, all these Baroque composers, they are alive today, what would they do? I would be convinced they would go and explore, you know, there's endless possibilities of electronic music. And that's what I think opera can be in the lens of today. Yes, so a duo with an opera element and an electronic music element.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, and this evening Aiko will be joining you and accompanying you electrically. So your background actually is an electro-acoustic composer,
Yes.
audio engineer,
Yeah.
noise bassist, and
Yes.
you know this intrigues me, and a multimedia performer.
Right.
So can you give me a little bit about what your element will add to OE?
Yeah. Mostly for this collaboration, I focus on analyzing the audio-wise, analyzing the pieces from Baroque era.
Yes.
And yeah, so I use audio sound as an instrument, analyze the spectral analysis and use granular synthesis.
Yes.
And messing up the two ideas, joining up.
Yes, we were trying to have reinterpret the piece, Music for a While by Henry Purcell, and then trying to add another piece that I personally think there is connection, Calling You by Jeff Berkeley. And then Aiko was trying to analyze and deconstruct the chords, so into different sort of sounds, and then how to mix up together, and how I combine the song together as well.
Wow. Well, let's get into this combination of Purcell's Music for a While and Jeff Berkeley's Calling You.
Just a little cafe around the bend.
That was amazing. So I think also as a classically trained singer, we're in a world where we're trying to figure out where does classical music fit, where it used to be the popular music, but now we have a different form of popular music.
Yeah.
So what inspired you, and in particular these two pieces, to bring them together?
Yes, so, you know, in classical music, sometimes we tend to think of the form a lot, right? If there's an opera, we would have an orchestra, we have stage director, we'll have, you know, conductor, singers, you know, a budget, a big stage, you know, formal, right? I believe that would be the authentic form of it. But when I think of opera, I tend to think of fashion or film. Because, you know, you see how fashion keep rolling back sometimes, you know, what is trendy, what is not trendy. And then they deconstruct some elements and then they add an angle of some sort of their own and somehow we can combine. To me, that is endless, you know? And I think for music, it could be the same as well for classical music. It was for Baroque music particularly, it was the rock and roll of the time. So I would think about, okay, so what do I like? I like pop music as well. I like technology. I like different sound worlds. So, you know, what can I do to make that into present So I combine these two songs together with my emotion. You know, opera, it's about the moments. It's about the moments and it's about the craft. So how can I keep the tradition of the craft, the devotion, the emotions with the form of today? So that's that's how it comes up to today's performance.
Yes.
With the great help of Akio.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Wow. So what is next? What would you envision to be next for OE?
Yes. The next for OE, I am looking to get more audience. I have a show coming up to be in Lower Manhattan, the Delancey Club. I will be presented by them to perform the OE. So there it would be another piece that is by John Dowland, deconstructed. So 5 songs combined, and then construct with some hip hop grooves and things like that. Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah. So and then I would be going into more venues and perform this and let more people know what opera means to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So do you have any advice for our viewers, someone out there that may be a classically trained or jazz trained musician that it wants to expand into a more popular media and art form?
Yes. Well, I just think in this world of today, something does not depend on training. Sometimes be patient, sometimes be brave, but listen to the body, listen to your heart, and find it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just like wonderful words of encouragement and a wonderful performance by both of you tonight. Just before we end this evening, can our viewers find more of your work? Where can we follow you?
Yes, so I have my personal website, juechengchen.com. And if you Google Juecheng Chen, you would also find me on Facebook, Instagram. Yes, and then everything will be posted there.
Wonderful. And you as well, Akio?
Yeah, my website is aikomokuno.com. You can listen to my compositions and some videos.
Thank you both again, and thank you for tuning in this evening. Again, I'm your host, Rebecca L. Hargrove, and this evening you heard Juecheng Chen and Aiko Mokuno. Thank you for watching.